With this new tax law, it is incredibly complicated. Only the people who have studied and know which way to go, because there's multiple different ways you can maximize yourself, especially with the new changes.
That this year tax or next year tax, when it's going to be a huge difference. And can I say windfall for some people?
It's going to be. Listen, I think I'm going to look for a new car next year. No, do it now, because guess what? You're going to get that deduction.
Now. However, this is November 1st. December is there, and then the tax season starts. I know I will not find you again during that time. You'll be very busy. Your office is swamped. Now, we're setting in a time where people can take advantage.
This is the time.
This is the time. So why this is the time? Let's just start with that, and then we're going to talk about benefits and how to maximize those things.
All right, perfect. So look, now is the time, right? We got that 60-day window that we're going to take advantage of. You know, I meet with a lot of my business clients, all of my personal clients, every single year to see, okay, what's going to change, what kind of moves we need to make to maximize next year. So this is like super, super important. And more so with these laws, everything has changed. Okay, so look, this is, if you're on the fence, you're saying, oh, should I go to a certified public accountant? With this new tax law, it is incredibly complicated. Only the people who have studied and know which way to go, because there's multiple different ways you can maximize yourself, especially with the new changes. This is the time to figure out who you're going to go to. So you got this 60-day window, maybe you got 90 days, right? But you've got to understand who to go to and who knows this stuff. There are so many different changes. And look, there's so many different great things have changed that can make or break your tax return. So look,
please.
Let's go we want to go through first.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the tax, Trump tax changes and the effect that make people very happy. So, and why? So let's start there.
So let's talk about, like, we got the overtime, we got the tips, that's supposed to be tax-free, right? And we spoke about this in another show, right? But since then, they've already published 70 occupations that qualifies for. So this is kind of a changing situation. So up to tax season, we'll know how this shifts. As I keep saying, it's really important to go to someone who studies this like every day and knows how to maximize this. So they can basically get $25,000 tax-free. Now, that tips and overtime, it also impacts commissions. So say I'm a car salesman, right? Imagine $25,000 almost tax-free. It's very, very important that we stay on top of this stuff and you meet with the right people, because of what I was saying before. This could make or break your tax file, right? You could be like, oh, I always owe money. This year you might actually get a nice refund, right? So that's one thing that's changed. The most important things are, right, you got the SALT deduction, that $10,000 that we've always been capped with, which most people can't itemize with that. Now you can. That's $40,000. Mortgage interest, that's at $1 million, right? That's your... I'm not saying we have that, but
yeah, I mean,
you don't have to worry about it. I bet you 90% of people who own houses this year are going to itemize like they did back in the day, right? On top of it, we have car loan interest, and then you can itemize and also use standard deduction, right? You can do either or, right? So that's going to be even more important of going to the right person. And that's capped at 30,000.
Right. So I just want to break it down in Bangla so everybody understands.
Sure.
যারা বাড়ি কিনেছেন 1 বছর 2 বছর আগে, আপনাদের অনেকেই জেনে থাকার কথা যে আপনি সর্বোচ্চ $10,000 ডিডাকশন নিতে পারতেন। এবছর যখন ফাইল করবেন আগামী বছর, তখন কিন্তু এটি থাকবে না। আপনি ডিডাকশন করতে পারেন up to $40,000, right? A SALT deduction? Mm-hmm. Correct. So, and not only that, you can, if you have a car,
that's separate.
That's separate, but you can do deduction on that.
That's
one,
correct.
Right?
So imagine you're an Uber driver and your wife has a car, right? I'm going to deduct the interest off your Schedule C for your car, but imagine I'm going to do it again for your wife's car.
Yeah. So it's going to bring it down so much.
It's going to be a huge impact, and the people who know what they're doing, people are going to be very, very happy.
Right. So this too, there was a third one you talked about, the SALT deduction, the car insurance, and there was...
Not car insurance, you got the car loan interest.
Car loan interest, yes.
Right. And then you also have, the regular mortgage interest we always had.
The mortgage interest is deductible.
It always has been, but the limit has gone up, which is...
So the limit has gone up,
impact many people.
Yeah.
Right. And then also you got overtime, you got tips.
Yeah.
Right.
So many things. This year's, I've been saying this, and you know that, and you told me because you are the CPA, so that this year tax or next year tax, when it's going to be huge difference. And can I say windfall for some people?
It's going to be.
It's going to be a windfall.
It's going to be. Think about the people who just bought those houses, right? They're going to see the biggest benefits. Like the people who bought the house before, not as much, right?
Right.
Because here's the thing, they've already that interest, which is always more of the loan, not going to see it, right?
Right.
There's going to be huge, huge benefits. But
Yeah.
look, at the end of the day, as he was saying, look, the 60 days coming up, you got to meet with someone who knows what they're doing so you can prepare. Because here's the thing. Say you're going to go buy this expensive car. Oh, no, the interest rate's really high and I don't know. This may be time that makes or breaks that and says, oh, it's worth buying, you know?
Right. Oh, well, some people will hesitate saying the interest rate is too high. Should I wait for to come down a little bit?
But maybe you want this car, you don't want this car, and this interest rate's really high. But guess what? Once I write that off the taxes, it may be even.
Yeah. So
you get the car you want.
Yeah. So that's the trick. So even if you're paying higher interest and you can have some deduction on it, the interest payments.
Or imagine you say, hey, listen, I think I'm going to look for a new car next year. No, do it now. Because guess what? You're going to get that deduction.
Now.
Yes.
When you file 2026.
And for businesses, it's tremendous. We got the 100% depreciation back for the new cars.
Yeah.
So look, anybody who drives Uber, are you going to get a new car? Buy it this year.
And should I be happy? 100% deduction, I heard.
Yes.
For the business.
Yes.
I'm already feeling very happy. Not sure.
Did you buy a new car?
Not yet.
Well, tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow. Okay. So now that brings me to the next.
Well, also going back to the 100% deduction, like, okay, say you say, okay, I made a lot of money this year.
Yeah.
I'm like freaking out. What am I going to do? I don't have the savings for it. I think I'm going to owe this taxes. And you're in business, buy that car. Because that will basically almost break it even.
That takes me to the other thing. You need to sit down with a professional CPA who can really help you and maximize these benefits. Okay, you can file your tax anywhere. You can even file with TurboTaxes. But to maximize it and be safe at the same time, you need a professional advice from.
You do, and especially this year. Trust me, if you go to the wrong person and you start getting letters and that person can't defend you to the IRS, guess what? The IRS says it's your fault, not theirs.
Absolutely. Okay, you are the one who's on the hook.
Correct. And that's why I always tell my clients when I'm doing their taxes, I want everyone to understand their tax return because it's not my tax return, right?
Yeah.
It's theirs.
Yeah.
I want them to understand.
Yeah. So the buck stops with you, basically, in this case. Mm-hmm. And the guy is going to wash his hands off and say, I mean, you told me to do this.
I can't even talk to the IRS. Sorry, you're on your own. Go to a CPA. You might as well start with the CPA.
Yeah. So, he can't do it because the IRS would say only the CPA is qualified to talk directly to IRS, right? So be careful. You have to be very, very careful. Okay. Now that brings me to this next section, which is preparing for tax benefit next year, which is people are going to file in 2026 of 2025.
Correct.
So I'm going to break it down in a few categories. The category one, people who are thinking buying house. Let's stay with that one first, and then I'm going to go into other.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're going to buy a house, time is now, especially with all the good benefits we're getting, right? We're getting all that, right? The SALT deduction, we're getting that whole benefit, right? If you're buying it now, it's fine because you're getting to write all this stuff off. You're going to see that benefit. So you shouldn't be sitting on the sideline because you're like, oh, I'm not sure, I'll buy it maybe next year. Look, they just cut the interest rate, which we already know about, but you guys will notice that the rates have not come down.
Correct. And I had a show yesterday when I said it affects on short-term government debts only.
Well, no, they cut the rate because of the government shutdown, right? But then the reason the rates aren't dropping for your mortgage is because of the government's shutdown is causing uncertainty in the market.
Yeah.
So you're basically exactly where you were before they cut the rates.
But when the government opens up,
yes, then we'll hopefully see the drop on the 10-year Treasury.
We are expecting that drop in 30-year fixed mortgage.
Correct.
Especially
that's why I'm going to say, listen, if I'm looking for a house, this is like the best time to buy because the rates are going to come down. So that by the time you go into contract, right, by the time you lock that interest rate, it's going to be 30 to 60 days anyways. So you'll see the drop.
Right. So that's for the home buyers that you're saying this is the right time, and
even for the refinancers.
Refinancers. So I'm going to come back to it because that's. I think I was looking at a CNBC's report, and the home refinancing surge from last year to this year, 111%. That's huge, and I'm expecting to jump to 500%.
You got people at 7s, you got people at 8s,
8, 9.
Correct.
Yeah.
But then that also brings us all the way back to taxes again, especially people who don't show a lot of income, who take a lot of deductions, right? This is, again, the time to take advantage of talking to a right person because here, going back to the 100% depreciation.
Yes.
I'm taking 100% depreciation, but guess what? The mortgage company adds it back onto my income.
Yeah.
So I get to save on taxes and I get to use it to qualify for a mortgage.
I'm sure we're going to break down these things even furthermore coming days because the tax season is here.
নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে সম্প্রচারিত টিভি TBN24 টেলিভিশন বিশ্বজুড়ে বাঙালির কণ্ঠস্বর।